and welcome to Uncle Matt's Online Academy. In today's lesson, we want to talk about machines. Machines. In science, what we call a machine is any equipment or anything that helps us to use small efforts to overcome a big load. Anything that helps us to use small efforts to overcome a big load, we call it a machine. Or anything that helps us to do work easier is called a machine. The advantage of a machine is that it helps us to save energy. So, from this definition, we can drive this that anytime we are talking about machine, these three things must be involved. One, load. Load is the resistance or what we are trying to achieve. That is what we call the load. Resistance or what we are trying to achieve is the load. Now, we also commonly talk about efforts. Efforts, on the other hand, is the force that is applied to overcome the load. The force that we apply to overcome the resistance or the load is what we call efforts. Now, the third thing that we always talk about when we are talking about machine is what we call fulcrum or pivots. Fulcrum, we also call it pivots. Now, fulcrum, on the other hand, is the supports in the machine or the fixed point. That is what helps the machine to stand. We call it the fulcrum. Nothing will do any work or else it has something that supports it. So something must stand in order to hold something. If you are not standing, you cannot hold someone. So the machine must itself stand. So what is holding the machine? That is what we call the fulcrum or the pivots. So it is when you stand that you'll be able to support someone to stand. But if you are not standing, you cannot help someone to stand. So fulcrum, efforts, and load are important in definition of machine or whenever we are talking about machines. I say that machine, it helps us to save energy. That is one advantage, the major advantage of using machine. It helps us to save energy because we apply small energy. Effort means energy. We apply small efforts to overcome big load. Now we have two major categories or types of machine. We have the one we call simple machine and complex machine. They are the two major types of machine. One, simple machine, and second, complex machine. Now, what is a simple machine? In a simple machine, An effort is applied at a given point and it produces or it helps to overcome a load at just one point. So there is just one single effort applied to overcome a load at just one point. Now take for instance, in simple machine, if you have something like a wheelbarrow, in your wheelbarrow you hold, or let me say you have this kind of system where somebody is sitting here and somebody want to lift it from this side. So if someone, you maybe want to lift something that is here, then somebody can sit here and so that this machine can raise up. So here is a simple machine because the effort you apply here is producing or overcoming the load that is here. Just one point. There is no other load here. There is no other load here. It's just one point. So this is what we call simple machine. The effort you apply goes straight to overcome just one load at just one point. Now, in complex machine, effort that is applied at one point produces or overcomes load at different places. So if this is to be a complex machine, we are going to have something like here we have another load here, here we have another load here, we may even have another load here. So, and we are just applying one effort here, and it is helping to do work here, do work here, do work here, do work here, do work here. The load is the work you are doing. So another name for load that you are doing in a machine is the work. So the machine helps. In machine, you use small energy to overcome big work. So a machine is anything that helps us to use small effort or small energy to overcome or to do big work. Now, so here you apply small load and it overcome energy here, overcoming energy here. Overcome work here or load and also here. So whenever one effort is overcoming many loads, we call the machine a complex machine. But if it is overcoming just one load, we call it a simple machine. Now, examples of simple machine are lever, pulley, wheel, and axle. I'm going to talk about all these one by one. Then example of a complex machine is a screw jack. I'm going to talk about this and explain. Then let's talk about, I say that examples of simple machine are lever system, 2, pulley, and 3 is wheel and axle. Wheel and axle. Now let's talk about the first one, lever. A lever is a form of simple machine in which a small effort overcomes a large resistance. And a lever uses the principles of load, effort, and fulcrum. In liver, we talk about how load, effort, and fulcrum are combined to overcome a load. We have three types of liver. We have simple liver. We have first class liver, sorry. First class liver, second class liver, and third class liver. Or we can call them first class liver system, second class liver system, and third class liver system. Now let's look at the first class liver. In first class liver, we combine the load, the effort, and the fulcrum in such a way that the fulcrum or the pivot or the support is between the load and the efforts. So when we have a simple machine where the load, where the fulcrum or the pivots is between the fulcrum, is between the load and the effort, we call it a first class lever. So in first class lever, we have load, we have load, we have fulcrum, and we have efforts. Or we can also say EFL. The effort, the fulcrum, and the load. So whichever way you can use to remember it, just know that the fulcrum is between the load and the effort in first class lever, EFL. Now let's see examples. Examples of first class lever are pliers, scissors, crowbar, and claw. They are all first class lever. Now let's look at this as scissors. In scissors, we have something like now this is how your scissors looks like. Now this is where you place your load or something you want to cut with your scissors, and this is where you put your energy or your effort. Now this is where the machine is supported, the middle. This is what holds the machine. So here is load, here is effort, and here is fulcrum, EFL. So you see that the in scissors, the fulcrum is between effort and load. Therefore, a scissors is a first class lever. Also, if you take your plier, the plier also looks like scissors, and it the fulcrum is between the effort and the load. The same thing with crowbar, they all look alike. So these are examples of first class lever. Now we look at second class lever. In second class lever, the load is between the effort and the fulcrum. The load is between the effort and fulcrum in second class lever. So we have effort, load, and fulcrum. So in second class lever, we have ELF. In first class lever, we have EFL. In second class lever, we have ELF. Or you can start with F and say FLE. But anyhow you want to put it, L must be in the middle. That is, the load must be in the middle in the second class lever. Now let's look at some examples. Your wheelbarrow. If you have your wheelbarrow, this is your wheelbarrow. Now this is where you put your effort, the handle. You put your effort there. Now this is where you put your load, whatever you want to put. This is where you put it. Between it in the middle is load, and then the wheelbarrow is supported by the wheel or the tire. So this is the fulcrum, what supports it. So we have ELF in wheelbarrow. So wheelbarrow is an example of second class lever. Another example is nutcracker. Nutcracker. So we have nutcracker. These are examples of second class lever. Now let's look at third class lever. In third class lever, the effort is between the fulcrum and the load. The effort is between the fulcrum and the load. So in third class lever, you have something like fulcrum, load, and fulcrum, effort, and load. Fulcrum, effort, and load in third class lever. So if we have something like, let's take for instance your arm. If this is human arm and you want to hold something, now this, assuming you want to hold, this is a load you want to carry, you want to raise it up. This is from your muscle. For your muscle, you apply efforts to your muscle or from here, and then you want to use it and raise this load. Now this is where you have your joints, where your hand is supported. So here we have your efforts, and then here you have your fulcrum. You have, this is where your, sorry, this is where you have your fulcrum, your hand is supported to your body from this side. This is your body. Your hand is supported here. So this is the fulcrum, and this is where the effort you're applying. You put your efforts here to your muscle, then and you use it to raise this load that is here. So where the machine is attached to a support, the support is your whole body. That is what is supporting the machine, your arm. So it is here, and then it comes to your muscle. Your muscle is where you push to get the energy that you use to raise the machine. So the energy, or the point of application of the energy or effort, is in between, and then the load is here. So we have fulcrum, we have effort, and we have load. So the human arm is an example of a third class lever. Another example of a third class lever is there is something we call laboratory tongue. We use it in a laboratory to get something. It is another example of a third class lever. A laboratory tongue. In a tongue, you hold it in between it, at the middle of it. That is where you hold it. That is where you put the effort and use it to do whatever you want to do with it. So these are two examples of third class lever: human arm and laboratory tongue. So this is it about lever. We've talked about first class lever, second class lever, and third class lever, and I believe you can differentiate between these different classes of lever, and you can also talk about the meaning of machine and the types of machine, and you also can tell the differences between effort, fulcrum, and load.